Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, worshippers of all ages, welcome to YouTube. My name is SeaRaptor, and it's time for more Scuttlebutt. Gonna try and make a pretty quick video this evening. The weather's supposed to get pretty bad here in the coastal bend of South Texas, and I want to get this done and uploaded before the worst of it gets here. So pardon me if this one is a little shorter than normal. Game in the background is premium Tier VIII French cruiser Bayard. Now, if you like DeGrasse or La Galicianaire, any of the French 152, 6-inch gun cruisers, light cruisers, this is more of the same. You will probably like this ship. She has more barrels, of course. She's got 12 barrels like Cleveland. She has significantly better AA. Her middle ring is made up of a bunch of 57mm guns that are right out of the early 1950s, and they are brutally punishing to enemy aircraft, at least equal-tiered enemy aircraft. It's a really good thing too, because this ship cannot take a hit. Not from basically from anybody. She's covered in 13 and 25mm plate, 27mm plate all over the place. Her belt protection is like 105mm. It's awful, right? This is a light cruiser. You do not want to get shot at. And even just USN 5-inch rockets will shave 6,000 to 10,000 damage off her health. She's very, very fragile. She doesn't really get good matchmaking most of the time because Tier 8. I do get good matchmaking in this game, despite the double carrier. Something else you note as the game goes on, I also failed to make really good use of one of the big selling points of this ship, and that is the reload booster consumable. This has kind of become a running gag when I play French ships, pretty much on-stream or off-stream. I consistently forget to use the damn thing, so sue me. Anyway, enjoy the game. So what's been going on in shooty boats? Well, 8.4 PTS, a public test of the next patch, starts this weekend. The developer bulletin and accompanying video give us a preview of what is coming. I'll put the link down below. Essentially, 8.4 will see the release of the full new Russian battleship line coming into the game, as well as a new Russian battleship collection to go with it, and a new unique Russian commander, that's Nikolai Kuznetsov, Russian admiral from that particular era. We're talking World War II, late war. Of course, the continuation of the victory competition, the Honor and Glory event, which has been a tremendous amount of fun, very well executed. Huge kudos to Wargaming for that one. That will continue. Launch delays are coming for basically all CVs that are not Tier 4. Now that when those carriers load into the game, all of their squadrons will start on a cooldown. The length of that cooldown will be based on the tier of the ship. A new season of ranked battles is coming. Unfortunately, this is a Tier 10 season, and carriers will be allowed. We'll talk more about that in just a moment. A new high-tier map coming, based on the look and feel of Greece and the Aegean Sea and the island of Santorini. And dynamic weather in port is coming. The time of day as you sit in port will shift. The sun will rise and set. Clouds will come and go. You'll have little rain showers. That'll be really, really neat. Most of this is really good stuff. For me, I'm super disappointed in the new ranked season. I expect this season to be a complete and utter disaster. I'd love to be wrong. Like, I would love for somebody to laugh at me and tell me this was the best ranked season ever. Time will tell, but I don't have a lot of hope. After all the fun we had playing Tier 9 Arms Race, and I was not sold on that season, if you'll remember, but it was a ton of fun. I was really looking forward to doing more of that, but I don't feel like the carrier and surface ship balance is anywhere near ready to let these things loose in 7v7, right? Carriers, Tier 10 carriers already feel grossly overtuned when there's 11 other ships on your team. Now we're going to take half of them away. How good do you think playing against a carrier is going to feel then? Exactly. So, I don't have a lot of hope for this ranked season, but we'll see. I've been wrong before. What else is going on? Anchors Away starts tomorrow. I swear I'll stop talking about this eventually, but I want to continue to highlight this because I see how much work and effort the NA community team is putting into these events, and I want everybody who can possibly make one to go, right? You should absolutely go. The event aboard USS New Jersey is tomorrow, Saturday, 11th May. If you're going, say hi to Zoop, say hi to Ashley, say hi to the Wargaming staffers who are there. You're going to have a great time. After you do, come back here, comment on this video, let us know what you did, who you met, your overall impression of the event. I'm curious, right? The one that I attended at aboard USS Texas about 8 weeks ago now was kind of the prototype for what they have later then just rolled out across the nation. And I know what we did, but I'm curious to see what they're going to do for you guys, right? What did they learn? What did they change? What's better? So come back and let us know. Anybody who's not going this weekend, for the rest of you, there's still plenty of time to sign up for one of the myriad events still on the calendar. There's pretty much something almost every month between now and February of next year. So I really, really encourage you to find time in your schedule, something you can attend, and make the time to go to one of these events. They are a blast. Big topic of the week. Guess what, guys? We're still fucking talking about aircraft carriers. Who knew, right? Who knew? But it's good news, I think. For the first time in what feels like forever, Wargaming has laid out some additional plans for balancing, reworking, whatever you want to call it, for dealing with carriers in 2 blog posts in Facebook that I'll link down below. The first set of changes are to specific ships. Graf Zeppelin is getting some Buster dive bombers, and Hakuryu is getting some alterations to the way her 8-kilometer long-range torpedoes work. The Zeppelin changes for me are honestly welcome. Her AP bomb drop waves are still very tiny, only 2 planes, only 2 bombs, and players need a reason to reach for those instead of her torpedoes, because the torpedoes are very consistent and very usable. Even though they've been nerfed into oblivion, they're still a better damage source than the AP bombs have been up to this point. So to me, the AP bombs need some love, and that seems to be coming, and I'm glad for it. Personally, I wish they'd add a 3rd plane into that drop, right? The drop, instead of being 2 planes, is 3 planes, but that's me wishing and hoping. The Hakuryu changes, to me, are kind of baffling. The 8-kilometer torps that we're talking about getting changed got nerfed super hard right after 0.8.0 dropped, and iChase did a video on flying Shimakaze. Some of that is actually being walked back. Not enough of it that I think we're going to get back to flying Shimakaze. But I think some of it is an acknowledgement that they've got to give players a reason to play Hakuryu instead of Midway or Audacious at Tier 10, because those other 2 carriers are simply far easier to use and far more reliable in how they deal damage. So I think they've realized that Hakuryu's gotten the short end of the stick since they nerfed her so badly, deservedly so, but I think maybe they realized they went a little overboard for some things, and they're trying to even the scales out a bit. The other post details more of the long-range sweeping changes that are still continuing to come for different CV balancing. It's the kind of communication that was really, really good for the first 6 weeks after the patch and has completely disappeared in the 6 or 8 weeks since that time, and has felt that, this is what I've been frustrated by, right? Like, we've spent 6 or 8 weeks with just nothing to talk about. What's happening? This is continuing to not be okay. What's going to change? What's going to improve? Now we're finally getting a look. We talked about the launch delay. That's noted on this post. I mentioned in my Twitch stream back in February that I believe that this was inevitable, and I'll throw a link down below if you want to go watch that clip. Engine boost is getting a change. This is huge. So when you press the W key while you're flying a squadron of planes, you get a boost to speed. This is getting a nerf across the board. The bonus is now going to be fixed at 35 knots of speed rather than some percentage of the aircraft speed. This is a huge change for some carriers because it's going to increase the amount of time that certain types of squadrons spend inside of anti-aircraft auras during their attack runs. I personally think that this is a great change, but I also think that some carriers are going to have the health of their planes tweaked a bit to compensate after this goes through. But to me, it's a welcome change for those of us that feel like AA doesn't do enough right now, partly because planes are simply too damn fast. HE dive bombs versus destroyers are getting more tweaks. Based on early reports from public testing, the drop ellipse for American high-explosive bombs seems to be narrower and longer than it used to be, which should make landing lots of those kinds of bombs on destroyers, especially a destroyer that's actively maneuvering, a lot more difficult. Carriers will be coming back to co-op play in the near future, but not to operations just yet. Currently, if you take a carrier into co-op, the enemy team gets another battleship instead of an aircraft carrier. Apparently, they're almost at a point where they are going to fix that. Additional improvements are coming to the carrier autopilot to help it navigate obstacles better. Again, this is sorely needed. I can talk for hours about how messed up the autopilot system is. There's no need. They realize it changes. And surface ships are going to be getting a thrown a bone here. Economic rewards for shooting down planes is eventually going to shift from plane kills to plane damage. To me, this is huge. This is a welcome change to those of us who invest in AA skills and upgrades, but if you don't get the killing blow on that aircraft, you don't get any reward. Now they're going to reward you for the damage you're doing, not necessarily just happening. If you just happen to be the guy who got the last tick of damage to kill that plane off, you're going to get some benefit, so that'll be nice. And lastly, changes are coming to how the AA priority sector system works. There's absolutely no detail here, but they state explicitly that they want players to feel more rewarded for using this system in conjunction with upgrades and skills to defend their ships. And this is nothing else, even if this is nothing else, this is an acknowledgement that things where they are right now with this system are not okay. For me, this is a big deal. We've talked before about how CV mechanics are notably better, but AA mechanics feel bizarrely arbitrary and bad because of how over-reliant the current system is on flak damage in order to meaningfully contribute to defending the ship. I mean, the game you're watching, I manage a boatload of plane kills, most of them against an equal tier CV, right? That seems okay. But I've taken this ship into games against a midway, and her AA just feels awful. So things are hopefully going to be improving there. Well, guys, there you go. That's it. That's Bayard. Again, this is not a perfect game. It's not even really a great game. This is just a bit of a game to showcase the ship. You guys can see it in action. She's not a bad ship by any stretch of the imagination, but I could have played her a little better in this game. We did okay with plane kills. We made the Enterprise pay for all the attack runs, and we were able to defend our team a little bit. But I didn't get nearly as much damage as I could have because I forgot to use the reload booster at some opportune moments. So, operator error. Take that what you will. Bayard is a fun ship to drive, but she is incredibly fragile. So just keep that in mind when they decide they're going to release her, and we'll do some more in-depth looks at her coming up soon. I've got her on my slate after I get through Yoshino and Benham. All right, guys, have a good weekend. If you're going to USS New Jersey, have a great time. Be safe out there, and I'll see you around the channel.